All right, welcome back everyone. This is Aluminum Tower. Thanks so much for joining as always when you come on the channel. It's much appreciated. So we're going to be doing the sign of Sagittarius. This is your season today. So of course, happy birthday to all the Sagittarians out there. It's a pleasure to read for you. And we're going to go ahead and kick things off. I think we are now experiencing a full moon, and I believe it's in Scorpio. So it's supposed to be quite intense, at least emotionally. So for those who are quite affected by the moon, I was born on a moon day, Monday. And yeah, that usually kicks things up for me a bit. But hopefully you'll be able to weather the wild ride that the moon takes us on. And, come through this to have a very good, Sagittarius season. So that said, we're nearing towards the holidays, so I want to just go ahead and get these out so that, we can have these readings done before, as the month kicks off, because it's already the 4th. So that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with this. I've already shuffled the cards. We're going to just go ahead and blather on about each of them and what the meanings are as they relate to their positions. Starting off with the Three of Cups. And I do remember that Taurus had this, and they had Three of Cups in the reverse for the recent past. You have this as your central card. This is the card that represents your energy to date. So right now, you're going out, you're socializing, you're getting acquainted with people, you're working with your support groups that help to support you emotionally to get you back to best. And that really is a helpful thing for us all to have, some kind of emotional support. Because, life isn't always the most, how can I say, it's not the easiest thing to get, to deal with, but it is, of course, one of the best things we can deal with. Now, as we're going through with this Three of Cups, and you're kind of, recentering yourself by receiving, by going out, having a few good nights out with people, enjoying life, we're finally getting back into the flow of life, because what you're trying to do right now is to take your mind off of something that's been quite difficult. That's your challenge. The Nine of Swords in the reverse, which tells us about someone who has struggled in the past with this, but now is trying to get, into the flow of things where they no longer have to feel stressed about things. They no longer have to be deep and buried in, stress and anxiety about whatever life throws their way. This, of course, has been a very difficult time because 2025 has been an absolute slog when it comes to, any type of difficult experiences or even painful experiences that we've had to go through. And as I've explained in the Taurus reading, it's been quite a bit of a nightmare, to say the least. And that's what the Nine of Swords represents. So we're now pulling away from that, so that we can go into 2026, hopefully with fresh perspectives about everything. We have the Four of Swords in the reverse, which represents the recent past energy. So that's the anxiety that you're in. Clarify. Four of Swords in the Jesus. Okay, so we're picking up these cards. There's a lot of mess to read. Okay, wow. All right. So a Sagittarius that I'm speaking to right now has had to deal with a King of Wands in the reverse. It's the playboy, playgirl. The people who like to hit it and quit it. The people who like to play mind games and, well, more so, they like to just play games altogether. And there's a lot of cards here. So we have here, I have to cover up the nudie bums. But we have here the Devil, which represents them. The Four of Coins, which is probably the way that you were approaching them. Maybe this is something they did also. They held back. They didn't, give you the love that you wanted or that you deserved. They were very toxic. They were also very rooted in their sacral chakra in a very negative way. So they were basically all about food, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We can keep the rock and roll because, of course, that's what we love. And then also we have the Fool card, which talks a lot about wanting a fresh start from something. But in this, the way I read it with all of these, I see these as traits and qualities that this King of Wands in the reverse had. So this is maybe a person that you were dealing with possibly male, but could be male or female, with masculine traits. Altogether, I see them as kind of a bit of a cunt, a dick, an absolute, pillock of a person who just made your life very difficult to deal with. And unfortunately, this is, what you had to put behind you. Well, fortunately, that's what you had to put behind you, but unfortunately, things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to. However, as we go to in the near future, we talk a lot about the card that is here. Let's clarify the Seven of Cups. Cards are flying out all the time. We have the Seven of Cups in the reverse, which talks about getting clear on something and no longer being in a state of confusion or a lot of, tons of options. I then pulled 3 cards in the reverse. So we have the Three of Wands and the Three of Coins in the reverse. When people don't cooperate with you, it is absolutely important that you remain clear-minded so that way you don't wait around for things to change when they're not going to. So you have made the conscious choice to move forward, to stop waiting for something when people are uncooperative. And it's about having those boundaries, those borders that those demarcation lines that you set for yourself in life with the rest of the world. Just as we have borders with a nation, or we have, a door that shuts on a house, we have to have those boundaries and restrictions that prevent us from being exploited by people and places around us. So this is a very important thing. I think that you have become wiser by not allowing people to overstep their boundaries, or your boundaries rather. And finally, putting your foot down and saying that this is the way things are going to be. I don't appreciate it when you do this. I don't appreciate it when you do that. Speaking in, telling this to people in a very succinct way. So that way there's no mystery. There's no delusion about it. You know exactly what you want to say and how you're going to say it. So that said, we move into what energy is at the core. What's at the core? Tell us about the core energy. So we have the Eight of Wands, and then we have the Six of Coins. So this is you moving forward quickly, communicating things, and working towards a period of give and take. And you can actually see that in this card. There is a letter that is being handed over. There's Three of Pentacles at the top, Three of Pentacles at the bottom. That's all about teamwork. I give a little bit, you take a little bit, I take a little bit, you give a little bit. And it's about that reciprocity that you want in a relationship, that things will allow you to feel as if this is a worthwhile effort. You're no longer just going to be giving everything to someone and allowing them to take as much as they can from you. And I explain that quite often in the topics that I talk about with the narcissist empath dichotomy, the scale that oftentimes takes place with these types of relationships. The narcissist steps in and comes into a person's life when they need to learn boundaries. So if a person gives too much, that narcissist is there to take too much and to force us to correct the way that we spend our energy. So oftentimes people will come into tarot readings and they'll say, oh, well, that person was a narcissist and they were this, they were horrible and stuff. It's like, yes, but you called that person into your life based on the way that you treated your energy. I'm not saying that it was like you're 100% your fault, but that narcissist is there to show you how not to overgive, how not to allow people to overstep boundaries, how not to allow people to encroach upon your comfort and your safety. With that said, we go into the energy that is known. We have the World card, and we also have the Magician. So it's not your ability to manifest what you want is not complete. You went from a period in which you felt like you needed to make a step up, in order for your life to become a bit more whole and a bit more complete, something that you can celebrate. And so now you're working really hard to manifest that and to bring that into fruition with the Magician card here. And so by doing this, this gives you the opportunity and the chance for you to really start to hone in on your skill, the power of communication, the power of emotional responsibility and emotional maturity, and then additionally your ability to be grounded, solid, stable, and additionally communicate and act with certainty. And so that's what the Magician they command. They're actually the one that tells us, hey, we have to use what's available to us so that we can make these things happen, and now's the time to make them happen. So ironically with this, you have the World card, which is card 21, and then you have the Magician card, which is the one card, card number 1. You had the Fool in the person in the past, so that's the card you're skipping over, but you're going from the incomplete cycle back into the Magician, which is kind of like number 1 of the new cycle. So rather than repeating the cycles that have been taking place in your life, you're putting an end to that, and you're finally starting to step into your energy where you can say to yourself, okay, we're going to make this happen. We're going to stop allowing these things that take away or detract from our energy, and we're going to move forward so that we can be better suited to manifest and materialize those important things that we hold dear in our lives. So at the end of this, what we have is the Queen of Swords, and that is that getting clear process. So you had the Seven of Cups in the reverse, and this talks about getting clear about things in your life, and now you have the Queen of Swords where you're actually taking that, you're doing that. So when people approach you, you say, I'm here to listen, but if you say the wrong thing to me, or if you lie or deceive me, I'll cut your tongue out. And that's how the Queen of Swords rolls. I am very, very familiar with that energy. We also have, clarifying this Queen of Swords, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and then we also have these Seven of Wands. So you're fighting for the things that you want so that life will turn in your favor. And in order to break the cycle, you have to move forward and get that done. What takes place before the Wheel of Fortune is the Hermit, which goes in, understands what needs to be done, and uses the light of the star in order to, go through that process of the dark night of the soul, the individuation process under Jungian psychology. Moves into the card number 10, which is Wheel of Fortune, and then that's what brings that restorative balance, which is justice. So what I see you overall doing in December, you're getting clear on what you want. You're understanding the things that you need to do in order to bring in more balanced and reciprocal relationships. And furthermore, it is important for you to decide how you're going to make that play out, what boundaries you're going to set, and what kind of people you want to attract into your life, what you want to manifest for yourself so that you attract and do the right things that are going to be conducive to you and not simply to someone who represents a balancing effect in your life, which is as horrible as they are. And I don't support narcissists at all. They do allow us to see what it is that we are truly worth. And that's it. So, thank you so much. This is Aluminum Tarot. I appreciate your time and attention for this reading today. This has been for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of December 2025. I hope you have a lovely holiday season as well as a birthday season. And if you like what you see here, again, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell. Leave a few comments below if you'd like to drop a few quid, renminbi, dollars, euros, pounds, whatever. Feel free to do that as well. I have a PayPal in the description box below. Any contributions are welcome. So that's going to be it. Thank you so much, and until next time, love and light. Bye now.